And we're on. Hello, welcome to podcast episode 151 of Rope-a-Dope Boxing. And the 2 Daves are back once again on a Monday for your viewing pleasure. If you're new to the channel, please like, share, and subscribe via YouTube and via Spotify for now. I normally do my little thumbnail thing. I can't be asked to do it. Yeah, I'm still a bit ropey from the weekend, mate. But yeah, talking of weekends as we normally do. How was yours, brother? You said it was going to be a quiet one. You said it was going to be a boring one. I remember you saying you were going to do bits and pieces around the house to keep her happy. Did it work out like that, mate?
It did, but I did have a beer on Friday. I had a few pints before I come home because she was working till 10. So I thought I'll go after work and have a few. So I did. But that wasn't the worst thing that happened to me in a week, man. Did I tell you I had to go to the dentist? I don't know whether you look at the back on the show. Sometimes you can see me putting my tongue in my mouth. Anyway, I had a broken tooth. I ain't been to the dentist for years because every time I go there, it costs me a fucking fortune. Well, lightning strikes again. I went there. I had a deep clean. That is horrific, by the way. That is. I had a tooth pulled out, and that wasn't even the worst thing that happened. Like the deep clean is the worst thing that's ever happened. At one point, I was going to say to her, "Listen, just take them all out." I was going to have false teeth. It was that painful, man. so I had to have a tooth out, which I know about at the back, a broken one at the back, 2 fillings, a deep clean, and I've got to have a crown fitted in 2 weeks' time. Guess how much I walked out of there? Guess how much I walked out of there? Oh, you know this because I think I put it in the group.
You did put it in the group, mate. I know it was a few £100, but I can't remember the exact amount. Go on, it was silly money.
I wish it was a few £100. £875.
Chump change for millionaires, though, isn't it?
No. No one wants to pay that.
No, man.
And not only that, since then, I was numb around this side of my face. My face is swollen, as you can probably. I don't usually have a fat face like this. I'm stacked.
I can't tell. I've got to be honest. I can't tell. I've got to be honest.
But she must have nicked my tongue when she was fucking about. So my tongue, like even now, even to speak, fucking hurting. Like where you know, like it must have got an ulcer or something. I'm in a bad way. Anyway, I drunk through that on Friday. That's probably what gave me the ulcer.
Numbs the pain. It's supposed to numb the pain, though, isn't it, alcohol? But
well, yeah.
Or was that scotch? I don't know.
It didn't numb my wallet, but so I had a few pints on Friday, mate. Saturday, I went to my mum and dad's with my old man. And Sunday, I did do bits around the house. I've done quite well and all. Built some new cabinets and stuff like that. So, yeah, well, the toothache's not there anymore. I did have toothache for a while, but I sort of suffered it. Now I've got a tongue ache. But
that's not from. What's that from?
I wish it was from that. I actually wish it was from that. But tongue cramp is the one.
Oh dear.
And that's a. I don't mind that pain. But yeah, all gearing up for this Friday, mate. Your missus's party. The Phoenix 5 are coming up, and God knows what's going to happen.
Say it about the wet floor signs.
Oh, the wet floor signs are coming out. The Crowder Prowler.
In bundles. Yeah. That'd be good, mate. It'd be good. Just back to your teeth. I'm not. It's not. Obviously, it's not a vein thing, and I'll go through the NHS as well. If I've got a manky tooth, or I've had all my wisdom teeth out, I'll just have them whipped out.
I've got to have wisdom teeth out next year. So I'm going to do that on the end. Yeah, I know. I'm going to take a few days off of that. But she said,
mate, I went straight back to work all the time. You're not supposed to because I do like lifting. I went straight back to work. I've got to be honest. Anybody that doesn't like the dentist, I totally get it. And they don't like hospitals and things like that. I've had about 7 teeth out altogether, 6, 7. And I've got to be honest, it doesn't hurt taking a tooth out.
No,
it doesn't hurt.
Oh, that's the first one. That's the first one I've ever had out.
Don't hurt, honestly. What you're saying about the deep clean and things like that.
That's horrific.
Fillings, yeah, that's more painful. It's
crazy.
They
go around every tooth. They go around every tooth, but they don't numb that.
Nah.
But I've got gaps in my teeth now I didn't know I had.
But you can feel them with your tongue, can't you?
Yeah, I can feel them now. Now I don't want them to get filled up again. So they give you these special toothbrushes that go between each tooth.
Or the plaque.
But they said to me, that on top of the £875, they went, and I've got no pain in my wisdom teeth. It's just coming in at a funny angle. She said that that's got to come out. She went, we can do that privately for another £800, or you can wait, go on a waiting list with the NHS. I said, I'll go on a waiting list. I'm not in any pain, like. So she was going to try and sting me for £1,600.
Wow, that's daylight robbery. I think I paid £50 NHS. I paid. It might not have been that, Dave.
They charged me. They charged £250 to take a tooth out.
That's ridiculous.
Tooth extraction. It was only half a tooth. I should have said really. It was only half a tooth because the other 2 were broken. The other half are broke.
Right.
But they see me coming, so that was horrific. And then I've quite a funny story. This Irish fella, he beat up an Indian fellow on the train this morning for the exact same thing I get the ump with. The Indian fellow was blasting his phone at about 6 in the morning, right next to the fella. And the geezer threatened to punch his lights out, called him a cunt, and this Irish fella. No, I wish I did though. The geezer, I'm going to hit you with one of these in a minute. And the size of his fucking fist was like 2 of mine. And I kept thinking that Indian fella needs to shut up, man, because he's going to get his face punched. And this geezer was massive. Yeah, all because he's blasted his phone with no headphones in. It done half wind people up, including me. But
I thought you were going to say for a one hit a quitter or something. You know,
he would have killed him. So he would have killed him with his fist. And then the Indian fella was like, he called him a cunt. And then he went, "Why are you being racist?" He went, "Oh, there we go." He said, "I'm not being racist. It's the easiest thing to sling about these days."
Yeah.
And
they all come in different shapes and sizes, and they all come in different colours.
Yeah.
The CUNT. See you next Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a bit of drama this morning. So it's all been going on.
A bit different view, isn't it, mate? The stories are coming back now.
They're coming back. It all evolved. Yes. There's no stories when I'm sober.
No, that's why you got to. You got to stay on the drink, mate. You can't go on the wagon. It's not the same.
Well, I'm sure there'll be plenty of stories coming for next episode. That's for sure.
Yeah, I hope so. I say stories, and mine's kind of rinse and repeat, mate. No sleep, football, got pissed, bed early.
You haven't announced the new name of this show, have you?
Oh yeah, there we go. All right, so we're 6 minutes in. So all you guys know, and any new listeners and viewers, we do sponsor 2 girls that play women's football, semi-pro. Abby Sivens, who plays for Redditch United, she scored. It wasn't this weekend she scored because they didn't have a game this weekend. It was the previous weekend. She scored a worldie against Crusaders in their league. Anyway, we sponsor her. And obviously when we sponsor players, whether it be via social media or the ground or the website or whatever, our kind of podcast gets a mention like every other sponsor. So Abby Sivens scores, sponsored by XYZ. What should be Rope Boxing. Anyway, she scores, and over the tannoy comes the name of the podcast. So people get ready for Google. Who are these guys? What are they doing? It actually said sponsored by David Graham Boxing Podcast. Now I love that. Because he's put my name there all together. But if you go on Google, we have a nose in the search. There's no boxing podcast called David Graham. It's Rope Boxing. So that advertising's kind of gone by the wayside there. Boxing was used, podcast was used, but yeah. Rope-a-dope Boxing, not David Graham. I think I've just used the account name that that went over, kind of thing. So, yeah, I suppose that's a little bit funny, mate. But yeah, apart from that, mate, it's been pretty quiet. But before we move on to talk about the boxing of the weekend, I do want to start with a bit of boxing. We spoke last week about Marius Wack.
Oh,
doing his thing in the world of MMA against 3 people. Should you like in the cage in Poland? Now, I did say to you last week, you didn't want to mention it because these people he was fighting against, they looked mentally handicapped. So I said I was going to go in and delve in and find out what's going on. I mean, he can do what he likes, but it just didn't look right. Now, I've read a few news articles. I've been on, obviously, Google and things like that, different sites, and it confirms that it was not a proper MMA fight, but these people weren't mentally handicapped. They were influencers in Poland. So that's basically what they were. And you could tell they were influencers because they had no clue what they were doing. And that's why people were probably saying they looked mentally handicapped. They were acting mentally handicapped and it was something not quite right. So I just wanted to clear that up, Dave, for a bit of clarity. Marius Wack doing his thing in MMA in Poland or Russia, wherever it was, against 3 influencers we wouldn't have heard in this country. So that's that cleared up. Any thoughts, comments? No? Couldn't care less?
No, I can't. We got enough of that going on here with these misfits fights and people coming in the fucking thing with guitars and tag team boxing and all that. The world's gone mad, mate. The world's gone mad.
It has gone mad, and it's gone absolutely crazy because I don't know if you was going to mention this in your news. So I don't think you would because it's not news. It happened on Saturday night on an MVP card. You sent me the clip, and it's gone kind of viral today. Yeah. 2 fighters which looks like to me the round of the year. Yeah. So far, Sebastian Juarez against DeMarcus Layton. I'd never heard of him. Most people hadn't. It's on the kind of MVP next gen card. I know Layton, I think he's in his mid-30s, but the prospect was I don't know if he was Mexican or Puerto Rican, whatever he was, 20-year-old. He might have been American with Spanish, kind of Latino heritage. 20-year-old prospect, went into the fight. I mean, how good it was, Dave, how the fuck do you score that? I know it was stopped in the first round, but if it went the full 3 minutes, how do you score that fight? I got it down to 8-6.
There were not only that. The guy who got dropped in the first got dropped the first time round. He got 2 points after he got dropped. So it's gone to a 10-8 round. He then got 2 points deducted for holding when the geezer was going in for the kill.
Messi 10-6.
Yeah, and then the referee's got a lot to answer for in this fight, by the way, because he let a lot go, and then because he should have been stopped really. Then all of a sudden he sort of gained his composure and then fucking knocked out his opponent. It was a mad round.
Brilliant. I enjoyed that. I could watch it again and again and again because you would never, if you were betting in play, you would never predict that to happen. You would think, right, it's only a matter of seconds now before Harris gets smashed to bits. No, man, he's gone fuck it, and he's done a kind of Vianello from last week. I'm not having this. This old man ain't beating this prospect, and he went and fucking done a job with him. You are right about the ref, but yeah, I got it down to 8-6 the score.
Yeah, I know, it was a mad how he scored it because, like I said, the holding and that should have got him stopped because he was out on his feet. He was literally out on his feet, like in survival mode, and just holding and stuff like that. Then he's pulled out a howitzer himself and stopped him.
Yeah.
So it was an amazing. Yeah. So I thought I'd send that on. I was going to mention it in the podcast. I'm glad you did.
Because
I'm shit with names. No, I'm shit with names. So that's why I say opponent, and so it's hard for me to describe it. But
yeah,
it was some round. Yeah,
because we done our previews and predictions for last weekend, ladies and gentlemen, but we only kind of followed 4 fights, but there was a bit going on, like over the MVP. And just quickly, let's start on we've done a negative, positive. Mauricio Lara was out at the weekend, Dave.
Yeah.
Didn't know he was fighting because we might have had a nose in a delve into it, but I've got no idea why he's fighting. This is why it pisses me off. He's banned.
Yeah.
So he's not, his ban doesn't end till May 2026. Yeah. And he's licensed to fight in a competitive fight. What's the fucking point? So he was banned for failing a drug test. He was found juicy going into the Leewood fight, the rematch. He had a ban put on place, so he couldn't fight professionally until 2026. But he's fighting an 8-10 rounder on Saturday night over in Mexico, wherever it was. I mean, what's the point?
There's no point having bans. There's no point having bans if you're going to just be able to do that. What is the point? Yeah, it's the Wild Wild West again.
It is, mate. Right, let's talk a bit of boxing from the weekend now. York Hall, Friday night, Kieron Conway versus George Liddard. Conway's British and Commonwealth middleweight titles on the line. We spoke about this last week, mate. 50-50 on paper. We both edged for Liddard. Thought it was going to be a close fight. It's a step up as well for Liddard in terms of the Conway having the belts and the competition that Conway's been in with the likes of certain other fighters at world level. What did you think of this fight? I thought it was a good fight. I was more impressed with Liddard. I thought he was better than what I expected. I thought it'd be a lot closer fight, but I thought he dominated the fight kind of from the start, really, mate. I thought it was a fantastic performance of him. And I've written there in the banner, ladies and gentlemen, how far can George Liddard go? Because I was impressed, Dave. I don't know how you found it, but I was very impressed with what I saw on Saturday night.
I was. You know what I was impressed the most with? His footwork. I thought his footwork was the difference in the fight. You know, he was in and out. He was up on his toes, maneuvering him around the ring. You know, a good jab. For me, he looked like he was in complete control.
Yeah.
There was flashes of shots that he would take, but generally, I felt he controlled the bout very well.
Very dominant.
Yeah.
He won most of the exchanges. He nullified a lot of Conway's work.
Yeah.
Kept in quiet. And again, the eye-catching work was coming from Liddard. I thought the output was quite low from Conway, but I also think he struggled to work out the style. Now, I said last week, he's got a kind of aggressive style and he's got a back-footed style. And he also has that crouching style when he throws those kind of looping hooks. Yeah. I think he just confused him a little bit. I thought Conway kind of struggled to work him out. And the later it got, the harder it became. And unfortunately, I think it was just before he dropped him in the 7th, I think it was, Dave, or the 8th, you notice his hand went kind of lame.
Yeah.
And he did look like that he was struggling, like whether he's broke it or he strained it, he was struggling. And then obviously the finish came, the towel came in, etc. But you can see he was struggling. Whereas
he couldn't keep it up to defend himself. So they were working out whether his hand was gone or his shoulder. But he kept getting caught. But at the comms at the time, they couldn't work out because it's almost like he couldn't lift it.
Yeah. That was, to me, that was more noticeable than when we saw Hamza Shiraz against Carlos Adames, and they were kind of using that as the excuse why he wasn't the same. But that was very noticeable with Conway. But Liddard, take nothing away from him. I think he won most of the rounds. Again, like I just said, I thought he's very dominant. I'll be interested to see where he goes next. I know he's a British champion now. He's got good backing in Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, the Essex connection with Frank Smith and all that kind of all the jazz. He's been talking well all week. Formed a bit of a rivalry, but I quite like the kids. I quite like him, mate. He's 23, and I think he can go further than this. European next, but I know he's calling out the arts of Chris Eubank. Sorry, mate, just calling out the arts of Chris Eubank Jr. I get it, but you're not on his radar. You don't bring enough cheddar ching in for the likes of him. But there are lots of other options out there for him, mate. So sorry, what you say?
No, I was just going to say there. I thought it was a really good performance. Like I said, I liked his footwork. I liked the distance that he kept and his range control. But the thing is, what I looked at, you can see that he can improve. I looked at him and I thought, he can improve as he goes. I can see him getting better with each fight. Like you said, he's got a good back and he speaks very well. And I don't think that the injury was a factor in the fight. Now,
no, I don't. No, I don't.
It will be, it may be used as a stick to go against him, but I don't see how it was. I felt like even before the injury, he was in control. Again, he controlled the distance from me. When you said it there, he bamboozled Conway a little bit, and Conway was then sort of getting a little bit desperate and trying to load up with a couple of shots. And don't get me wrong, he had elements of success at times, but there weren't enough of it. And so he was beat to the punch drive by George Liddard. You know what I mean? He looked like the younger, fresher guy. He wanted it more for me. Looked like he wanted it more, and put his foot on the gas when at the end there, and was going for the finish. Like you said there, Conway couldn't lift his hand. He was getting caught clean. And I think his corner was saying you probably got one more round and all that, and then sort of pulled him. But it was it was a good British title fight for me. It really was a good British title fight. We very rarely get lame ones, and for me, this lived up to it. Yeah,
right. I agree, 100%. And it was what I meant by when his arm or his hand, I think it was his hand, look bust. Well, it's something quite clean, not right. What I meant was it could have gone to points, but Liddard would have got the decision.
100%. Yeah.
Because he couldn't defend himself, and it may have gone to points that way. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, when he couldn't defend himself, and Liddard can clean, effective work, and he was loading up on his shots as well. It was the right stoppage, So he kind of smelt blood as well. He's seen he only had one arm and fucking went for it. There's a package there as well. There's a package there to be sold. There's a package there to be worked on. There's a package there to be nurtured. There is something about George Liddard that I like. It's the first time I've really watched him through fight week. First time I've watched him, without highlights really, because he's always on an undercard. He was the main eventer for the first time, etc. But everything that's coming out from him, I like it. And I'm excited to see the journey going forward.
The youngest British title, the youngest person.
Well, apparently he's not, is he? Apparently Adam Smith made a cock up.
Yeah, this is what they're saying, but I couldn't tell you who he was. But no, there's been people throwing out there that he's not. He's probably like the sixth.
Tony Sipson, apparently, at the age of 21 in 1979. I don't know who his opponent was, because obviously I've had to Google myself. Me and you weren't even born. But yeah, apparently he's made a right cock up there. And you're right. I think he's like number 6 in the queue. So how they've got it badly wrong, I do not know. So yeah, that was wrong. But
well, he's sort of saying it himself, and there's people who've been mentioning it. So he's going to run. Oh
yeah, it's gone crazy. Twitter's gone crazy, saying what the fuck are they talking about? He's nowhere near the youngest. Not that it matters, but I get why people are picking up on it, because it's not true.
No. Well, you got to use what you can. Like we said, they're good or bad press. There isn't. It doesn't exist. So even if it's wrong, they'll be talking about him anyway. So it'll work in his favour.
Going forward with him, mate. Obviously, Conway will be back. I think me and you and the rest of the boxing community will agree he's a good British level fighter, probably fringe European, but he's beaten fair and square. I mentioned Chris Eubank Jr. there. Obviously, he's looking for fights like that, paydays and things like that. I totally get it. It's not happening. But who would you put him in with next in terms of his development going forward? Now, I mentioned European there, mate, and obviously we've got somebody like Aaron McKenna. That may be a jump too far just yet for him. But mate, that's literally coming off that Liam Smith fight. Again, a lot of us didn't really watch a lot of Aaron McKenna before that Liam Smith fight, but he's gone straight into he's definitely world level. But I'm thinking about the likes of a Tyler Denny or a Brad Pauls next for George Liddard at middleweight. I think those fights are fantastic. Great learning fights, a step up yet again. And I think it's a sensible step up. Step up that he could win, but he could also come a cropper with as well, Two different styles there. Brad Paul's a puncher, Tyler Denny's a boxer. and their names, good British names.
Yeah, I do. I would say he's young, so I would like him to go and win it outright. Like there's not a lot of that happening anymore, where they stay at British level, clean up domestically, then go on to for European honours and that seems to have fizzled out. And with him being as young as he is, I think that's the route he should go down. And like you say, Tyler Denny would 100% fight for it. Brad Pauls would. These guys would fight for the British, again. So, I've got no issues with that, mate. I think that's what he should do. I think he should stay around the British scene, build a bit of a following. If he's from Essex, so he'll have one. But get his name out there, headline them type of shows, and build him correctly. Like I say, I don't see the rush. Like I say, he's a young man, and he's just achieved something brilliantly at such a young age.
I agree, but when he's talking about Chris Eubank Jr., it looks like he wants to get paid quick, get rich quick, get out quick. I don't know.
Chris Eubank Jr. will never in a million years fight a George Liddard at this stage. He's only after the biggest paydays. He always has been. Yeah. So he definitely would be doing it for the British title anyway. So he's got no interest in that.
If Chris Eubank Jr. won the British title, right, I'd have more respect for him than that fucking IBO strap he about. You know what I mean? On a serious note, I would. But he's not going to drop down to this level, not at this stage of his career.
No, he's not. No.
So, but it's more on Liddard talking about those kind of fights rather than what you're talking about, winning it outright, keeping it British, But
yeah,
he'll do what Eddie N says anyway at the end of the day, mate. But yeah, good luck to him. Good luck to him.
It was a good performance.
Always good performance. Shannon Ryan against Chloe Watson, mate. IBF bollocks ranking belt on the line here. Superfly. Couldn't care less about the belt. We know who's number one in the division. I had a little bit of a ding dong at the weekend with someone on Twitter.
Did you?
Yeah. And Carl Greaves was involved as well. Emma Dolan's manager. Kind of, I wouldn't say he was bad mouthing her, but he didn't get why she wasn't mentioned during this fight because she's the number one. It looks like she's going to be challenging for a world title. Very, very soon. I think the mandatory is going to be called. So she should be in the conversation. And it was an IBF title fight. And she's in line to fight for the IBF title. So it kind of makes sense. And she's obviously beat Shannon Ryan in the past. So there is a narrative going there. However, mate, stopped in the fourth round this fight with a horrific swollen eye to Chloe Watson. I felt sorry for her, mate. Don't get me wrong. On the card, she lost the first 4 rounds. She was losing the fight. But, it's a 10-round fight. She's had a bit of bad news, like all of us, with Ricky Hatton. She's in with a new trainer now, mate, Paul Stevenson, under their first fight. It's Nick Ball's trainer, by the way, if anybody doesn't know, up in Liverpool. Yeah, I just felt, not that I picked her to win, mate, but I just felt for her. She looked gutted, and it was an accidental head clash, should I say. It couldn't be helped, but
they could run this back, though, man. They could run this back.
Yeah, I think they should. I don't think Shannon Ryan's interested in running it back. I think she's got the Chloe Watson victory now, former European champion, and she wants to kick on again. So I'm not sure, but I did not a lot to take out of this match. I just think Shannon Ryan was better for the first 4 rounds.
Oh yeah, she was better for the first round, but I actually think it was a good Shannon Ryan though. I know she's come off a couple of defeats.
Oh, she's definitely improved. She's definitely improved.
She has. And that's what I noticed in this fight. Because listen, this was a 50-50 fight. But I feel like Shannon Ryan was the better fighter. And that was all to see on the scorecards. Yeah. But my issue with Chloe Watson, it was the same when she was in with Jazz, is that sometimes she can look very one-dimensional. Like I sort of said that before, where instead of cutting off the ring, she seems like she follows her opponent round. So she's a forward thinking fighter, and she goes forward, but she's very static in what she does, and that's why I feel like she's easily hit. Now, don't get me wrong, the head clash with that would have done enough to take anyone out of their rhythm, and it really would have done because it was bad. But I was quite impressed with Shannon Ryan's performance in this fight. Now, listen, she was never a bad fighter. She's just up against better quality opponent. And Emma Dolan, we've said this before, is world level in our eyes, and she'll go on to prove that. Definitely. But Chloe Watson, it was a good stiff test, and I feel like Shannon Ryan proved herself to be better, in them first 4 rounds. Listen, the injury was terrible, but I was impressed with Shannon Ryan, and I did tip her to win, to be fair. So, but yeah, I think Shannon Ryan. If I'm Shannon Ryan, you probably think the same because Chloe Watson's a good fight, and she could win that fight. What's happened, and she would. Shannon Ryan can go and move on to bigger and better things. But if she really wanted to have this fight again, she could have it, and it would be a good fight. But
yeah,
then they say the pool as well. There's a chance these two can meet again, maybe for a more meaningful title.
They were asking Shannon Ryan about an Emma Dolan rematch, and it only kind of makes sense for Emma. I'm guessing it's financially. If she's the A side and she's the one that gets paid, obviously she'd be back on Matchroom and things like that. But at the moment, they're on kind of different journeys. But just going back to Chloe Watson, mate. Well, obviously, when she fought Jazz, we done a bit of homework looking at her fights going into that. And then she has changed, because last week I said about her point scoring, and you looked a bit of a point scorer, but then she obviously was under the tutelage of Ricky Hatton. So she's transitioning from amateur to pro. It's a completely different style. And now she's under Nick Ball's trainer as well. I think we're just going to see a girl that's not going to look for point scoring. It's just going to go in and just look to knock girls out. And I'm not sure it's the right way to go, because you said there she's very static. Now you go and have a look at her fights pre-Jazz. There's more of a boxer there. Do you know what I mean? It's like she's being transformed under Hatton and under Nick Ball's trainer and Stevenson, looking out to be this girl that walks forward and just tries to knock you out, and she's getting caught too much. The amateur styles is going from Chloe, you know, and I'm not sure that's right.
No, I don't think it's the right thing to do. Like you said there, she's got an amateur background. She can box. She could walk an opponent onto a shot. For me, she plods forward. She paws forward. But in that, she's getting caught on the way in. And that's what Jazz done to her. Jazz caught her with so many counters on the way in, it was untrue. So the score, it was so wide in the end that, well, it wasn't on the scorecard, but for us it was, that it was, you know, it was there for everyone to see. So I don't think that's the right tactic. I think the tactic needs to change. Listen, she is a strong girl and she can punch, and she has got that a bit about her. She's got big shoulders, you know, she's big at the weight.
And she was coming up in weight as well, Dave. So
but
she's coming up from fly to super fly.
Yeah. But I don't think it's the right thing to do. I think she needs to box instead of pouring forward and getting caught on the way in. And that's very much what. Yeah,
mix it. Use both.
Yeah, you get exactly. There's a time and a place for it. You know, put your foot on the gas when you need to. But for then but what ends up happening is, for me, she ends up following the opponent around the ring instead of cutting the ring off. And then in that, she's getting caught on the way in. She's getting caught with silly shots. And then the head clash was one thing, but she was losing that fight purely for them tactics.
Yeah, I just, as I said last week, mate, I haven't got a dog in the fight, but I felt sorry for her, but that's boxing. But I just think she's better. I think Chloe Watson's better than that. And I'm not here to kind of poo trainers. They know more than me. Of course they bloody do. You know, Nick Ball's a world champion, for God's sake. But I just think she can box and punch rather than just punch. But
yeah, but with Nick Ball, Nick Ball's got educated pressure. No, Nick Ball does pour forward, and he throws lots of shots. But Nick Ball's got head movement, so when he's going in, he's throwing shots. He's not getting caught. He's not getting caught on the way in. Yeah, don't get me wrong. He does get caught with shots. Everyone does. But you know what I mean. They're not eye catching. You know, you're not pouring forward, and he's landing as well. So there's a lot to it. Listen, there's styles and stuff like that. But I just felt like it's not really the right thing for her.
Do you think she's stuck in between styles? Is maybe the right kind of question?
Yeah, possibly.
Is she still stuck between trying to point score and becoming this aggressive professional now that's trying to knock you out, but at the same time she's stuck in between where the defense is gone, she's getting caught in the way in too much. And obviously another new trainer for her now. Hopefully the eye gets better very, very soon, and they can roll it back. I just don't think they will. I don't think they will roll it back.
No.
But yeah, all in all, good luck to Shannon Ryan and good luck to Chloe Watson going forward, mate. We'll see what's next for him. Right. Here we go. Tiah Mai Ayton. How long do we wait for somebody to hit Tiah back? Right. I've seen loads of comments on this, Dave, about Tiah Mai Ayton. A lot of positives, a few negatives. I'm not sure I get the negatives, and that's probably me being biased as well. But I explain what I mean by I don't understand the negative comments towards her. Her opponent, the Argentinian girl, Laura Valdembito, came over, mate, down in the second, stopped in the fourth. Tiah, for a 19-year-old girl, I know she's got a fighting background, but she's too big, too strong, too quick. And someone said she fights like a dude, and he's right. She does fight like a guy. It was chalk and cheese. It's a mismatch.
Yeah.
And this is where it frustrates me now, because we spoke about George Liddard as well, being very young at 23, matching him correctly, go the right way, go down the British route and things like this. And Tiah was saying on Saturday night, mate, that she more or less guarantees she'll be a British champion by 2026. Well, that's technically only a few months away.
Yeah.
And obviously, what's Eddie telling her? What's her management team telling her? What's her trainer telling her? What we can see, I think she's a bit of a freak of nature. Now, we'll only know that, like most of the tumor, when someone puts it on them.
Yeah.
But at the moment, even though I love this girl to bits and I think she's the superstar of world boxing, and I actually put that on Instagram and I got a couple of likes off her, which was fantastic. I don't know how many more I want to see of this.
No, this is the thing.
Because we're not going to learn. All we know is that Tiah Mai Ayton is miles better than the opponent she's being fed, and she's got power and she's knocking girls out. And this is why I don't get the kind of negative comments on people in terms of her saying that shit, she's knocking out bin women and all this kind of thing. Yes, she is, but that's how she's being match made. I understand Eddie's going to build a profile for her, but let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen. How many women do you know in the game? Remember, she's only doing over 6 rounds that are getting in there and knocking girls out, dropping them and knocking them. It's just not happening. It's boring. Sometimes it's boring, or it's. I don't want to be disrespectful. It's not good to watch. There's a lot of fundamentals not there, and it's just, or they're coasting, or it's very point scoring. She's a different breed. The only other girl I've seen this, Dave, and people can correct me if they want. I'll get out some facts. Is Savannah Marshall, but I don't think Savannah Marshall went in just to look for the knockout. She would box first, and then Tiah Mai Ayton she can do the lot. She can do the lot, and I think we may need to see a step up next time, Dave. And she's on about being a champion. So, I mean, the discussions must have happened with Eddie and her management team and her dad and things like that for seeing how quick we can get to that British title, mate. Because I don't know what you think. I know I do jump the gun, but when I see someone like this, like Moses Atuma, that it's very hard to match, and they're doing exactly what they're being paid to do. How many more Tiah Mai Ayton, these kinds of opponents you want to see Tiah in? I don't want to see her in with too many. No. I know I get the highlight reel knockouts. I get the profile build. I get the age group. I get the small pool as well. But I want to see someone ask her some questions. And she's only had 3 fights, which makes you sound a bit over-eager. But you get my point, don't you? What do we do next with Tiah?
Listen, I'm a big advocate of rounds. You know that. I've said this before with all these guys that are knocking people out in 10 fights and all that sort of stuff. It's great for the highlight reels. It's great for a profile builder. But for
that's a point, Dave. Sorry, mate. That's
development.
Does Eddie pay someone to give her rounds, or do we just keep getting bums like this?
No, I don't want it.
I'm giving her rounds.
Yeah, I want rounds. I think it's better for her in the long run. Because what we want to see what happens when she hits someone with a right hook, which is one of her signature punches that had an effect every time she landed it on Saturday or Friday, sorry. And I want to see when it bounces off of them, and then and there's someone walking forward pushing them back. I want to see how she reacts to that, because it's all well and good. And we said this about many a fighter. It's all well and good when they're on the front foot and got them on their backs to the ropes and they're teeing off. I want to see what happens when you're going back that way, when it's not natural to you. Yeah. And listen, she is a star, and they're building her to be one, and she's getting stoppages in a women's division where it doesn't happen very often. Doing all the right things, but there's only so much you can do. And we say it with the men's, where around 10 fights and it changes. Women are world champions after 8 fights. So if you're gonna put it down to that ratio, Tiah Mai Ayton after 3 fights is already there to start to be stepped up. If you're talking about within 10 fights in the women's division, you're a world champion. She's already a quarter of the way through that sort of thing. So she, for me, needs rounds. See, someone's going to test her. I don't want, if it means we don't see another knockout for the next few fights, then so be it. But I want to see what.
That's part of the learning curve, isn't it?
Yeah, I want to see when she's chin checked. I want to see, and you know what happens as well. These sort of things breed complacency. You've only got to look at it with Sky. Sky was boxing all that time, up on her toes, boxing well. Then we were talking about her never losing a round, and then she's under pressure to change her style because the people were calling her boring. Then she loses her world title. Now she's gone down. It's experience is key for me, and I especially when someone coming through, I want them to be in all the scenarios when it actually comes to then when they get to world level, they've experienced it. It goes a long way, because it's all well and good you hitting people and they're dropping. But that breeds overconfidence for me, because then you start thinking everyone I hit's going to go down. And we all know that you always come up against someone that doesn't happen to. And then you think, oh, shit, what's happening here? And you haven't done the rounds because you've been knocking people out in 3-4 rounds. So you haven't gone the distance. That's another learning curve as well. We only talk about Junaid Boston. I don't feel Junaid Boston does the rounds well. And I think in his mind that he's got that in his mind. Sorry. So I think that she needs to. My voice has gone funny.
That's the tongue.
Excuse me.
The tongue's gone numb now.
Yeah. I think she needs rounds, and I think she needs them next.
Yeah. I mean, our opponent on Friday, Dave, she was
nowhere near good enough. She was on the retreat, mate, the minute she got clipped.
She looked petrified on the way in.
Yeah.
She got clipped and she didn't want anything to do. She kept running away. That's what I'm saying, mate. I mean, I know it's a rock and a hard place for someone like Tiah. She's just not the average girl. There's something about her that she will pick up titles. She will be a superstar. But again, I suppose I'm just too eager with it. I want to see 10 knockouts. Of course I do. Everyone comes to boxing. I want to see blood and guts. But I don't want to see her against 10 knockouts against girls at this level. I want to see, as you say. But Eddie's got a patent, isn't he? You know, she's under the Matchroom promotional company. They've got to put their hands in the pockets and give her someone that's going to fight back. And I know it's risk and reward and things like that. How far do they go? But she looks like she's going to be a superstar. And I don't like saying must do better because it's the age as well, man. So
she hasn't done anything wrong. Wrong. It's not her fault. She can only beat who's put in front of her.
Right, that's my point, though. If they give her someone that hits her back and she can't take a shot, you think, what I've done is I've given what everybody wants. They want her to fight someone, and now she's a hype job, and it is. I get it. It is risky at the same time, but I just think she's levels above certain girls that are coming through, you know. But time will tell, mate. Time will tell. We'll soon find out. But again, very, very impressive from Tiah at the weekend, mate. Very, very impressive. Superstar of the future, mate. Superstar of the future. Right, so that was over at York Hall. Oh, just quickly, I did say if Jimmy Sains against Troy Coleman, if that was decent, we'd bring you that. I haven't seen the full fight because I was at work, so I only kind of prioritised certain fights. But Jimmy Sains, mate, he stopped Troy Coleman in 4 rounds for the English title. Again, another unbeaten fighter, good profile, building on a profile with Matchroom and Eddie. He's looking to start take on the likes now of George Liddard. I mean, would George Liddard think about going backwards to an English champion versus British champion? You know, Jimmy Sains looked half decent from what I saw the weekend. Dave, did you manage to see his stoppage?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, I did see it, mate. Yeah, very good. Listen, if he's going to stay round Liddard and do the British and mop up the British scene, then why not fight Sains? You know, Sains, you know, he's got the English. The next one for him is the British, and that's a good fight for me, mate. You know, they're both hungry. They're both going to want it. They're both going to put everything into it, and that for me ends up being a fantastic British title fight.
Yeah,
it's not a backward step for Liddard. He's only just won the British, you know, in a fight that he wasn't favourite for.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But would he not see it a backward step going for the English? It may be one of his.
Oh no!
I need European. Or I need
it would only be to defend it. No, not to fight for the English. Only to defend the British.
Yeah.
To defend it against Sains.
Yeah. Yeah, that's more like, I'm just thinking, like, would he think like Sains is below his level now? Do you know what I mean? After him beating Conway, I don't know. But yeah, it's a great fight. It is a good domestic fight. That you could get on with that. So yeah, so that was over in York Hall, ladies and gentlemen. Just one more fight to review from the weekend before we do a bit of David McDonald. Brooklyn, New York. Farewell to Brooklyn unboxing. But is it? I put on the banner there. I'm talking about Danny Swift Garcia, the former middleweight champion, multiple weight world champion, 37 years old now. There was rumours going into this, Dave, that they did Danny Garcia pay Daniel Gonzalez to lose and all this kind of rubbish. I mean, there's a lot of black curtains, I think, in Brooklyn, especially at the top.
There wasn't a lot to sell out.
There wasn't a lot. You could tell from that new Millionaires app he's on. Don't get me wrong, it looked okay in terms of the HD quality and the commentary and things like that. He co-owns that app as well, so he's definitely making money. People saying that he's skint and things like that. Possibly that's why he's doing this, but it was quite fitting the way that the fight ended, mate, against Gonzalez. Gonzalez is still nowhere near a match for Danny Garcia at 37. The no look left hook, as he used to call it, perfected it, got the stoppage, and it's a good way to bow out, mate. But I put there, but farewell to Brooklyn and boxing. But is it? He was obviously talking about he's 75% retired. If the right offer comes in, he's going to lace those gloves up again. So it's kind of a Derek Chisora moment, his last fight, and then you realise it's not his last fight. But not a lot to take out of this, mate, apart from the knockout. I don't.
No, there wasn't. And you know what it was? I think the knockout might be the the reason he's talking about carrying on. See if that had gone the distance and it'd been a bit of a stinker, and that might have put him into retirement, thinking, listen, I can't do it anymore. But that check left hook, which stopped it, that might make him fight again.
The no-look left hook, motherfucker.
Yeah, it was a great shot, and we've seen him do it many a time as well. Yeah, but yeah, I hope he stays retired. I mean, again, we don't really call for it, but yeah, that's a good way to go out. But Wilder, then like I said, there wasn't a lot of people there, but there was enough to, for him to get up for it.
No, I know that's what I'm saying. If you look closer, you can see like the top tier is empty, but it looks like there's black curtains there, kind of thing. And the crowd made a good noise. Again, he's got the Puerto Rican heritage, isn't he? So you know what they're like. They're like the Brits. They love a beer, and for a little tiny little island, and they love a sing song, etc. So it was okay. But obviously, going into fight week, you see things saying that Danny Garcia's struggling for money. He's wasted a lot of money. He's in debt, and you see other things like we said last week. He's got his fingers in lots of pies. He's making a lot of money. He's living the life. He's got his own promotional company now. He's involved with the streaming thing, like with Millionaire. So I don't know. Make what you want of it. But would I want to see him back again? I don't know. The Lara performance kind of told us last time out that he possibly is done at the top table. This level of opponent at the weekend, Dave, was. We said last week he should have enough to dance around him and possibly stop him, but we thought it would go points.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if I want to see Danny Garcia again. This level of opponent, you don't learn nothing. You're not going to learn nothing now at 37 anyway. I mean, he's had a good career. Again, multiple weight world champion.
He's had a fantastic career.
Mate, he's lost 4 fights, isn't he, in his career, but he's never been stopped. He pulled himself out that Lara fight because that was the first time he was dropped. And it was like, wow, this is new to me, but I'm feeling the pace. And Lara's older than him. Lara's he's our age. So, But yeah, the original question, do you want to see him again? I don't know. That's my honest one. I don't know.
No, I don't really. It was a great knockout, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But the fight wasn't great up to that point. I think he's had a fantastic career, one to be proud of. He's been in with absolutely everyone in the welterweight division. If you go through the names on his resume, it's unbelievable, and he's had some cracking wins. If that was meant to be his bow out night, I think that's what he should do. But I do think that the knockout and the way that it come might think he's I'm back, baby, and all that sort of stuff. So that might take him into another fight, but I don't think it's needed unless he's only after the money. But I don't think that he is. I heard things that he's done quite well with his money, but
yeah, exactly. There are 2 different sides of the story, but again, it's all hearsay, isn't it? And people making stuff up if you want Chinese whispers, and I don't know.
Yeah.
You never know, mate. He probably, because if Pacquiao gets his title shot, it looks like he's going to get his title shot, and he wins a title, you can see Danny Garcia and Manny Pacquiao on a PBC card fighting again for world title. You know what I mean? Stranger things have happened. But yeah, for all in all, it was okay. It was okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Chris Colbert, by the way, and Gabe Rosado, for what it's worth, they were back in action. I mean, Rosado, I didn't watch it, but Chris Colbert got a win. Hopefully, he can kickstart his career, but who knows? But yeah, performance of the week, mate.
Performance of the week. I'm going to go for George Liddard.
I'm staying biased for Tiah. Seek and destroy. Just seek and destroy. I know the level of opponent's rubbish, but she's still got a performance. So yeah. You can see our reasons why we've gone down different routes, but George Liddard was fantastic. I have to maintain that. So, we're just doing a bit of David McDonald now. We're going to bring you a preview episode later in the week. Obviously, we've got Fabio Warley versus Joseph Parker this weekend coming. But over to you, brother.
Yeah, so it's David McDonald and the Dongs. Now, you'll like this one, mate. We've been calling it for a while. Yanni Beck Adahanima. I can never get that right. And Ezalandi Lara have agreed to a middleweight title for unification on December 6th.
Sorry. Is that fireworks I can hear your end?
Yeah, it's Diwali. I'm in Norfolk. So Diwali is crazy, mate. They're going to be fucking doing fireworks for the next...
I thought I could hear fireworks.
Yeah. This is fireworks. Yeah, on December the 6th, and Yanni Beck versus Lara.
Yeah.
San Antonio. Yanni Beck will put his IBF and WBO titles on the line, while Lara will risk his WBA belt. It'd be on the undercard of Isaac Cruz versus Lamont Roach. It's needed. He's been calling for, even if we don't know it's him, he's been calling for it for quite a while. And now he's got the chance to add another belt, which I fully expect him to do.
Yeah, I've kind of how weird. One of my favourite fighters, and we've kind of forgotten about him this year because he hasn't been active. He's very active on social media, like you said. It's probably not him because he can't speak a word of English. It's probably his advisors or his management team or whatever. But yes, this is what he wants. A bit like Tiah, in the sense of I'm not moving up yet. I want these belts. So take the care of Lara. That's going to be a fantastic fight. And obviously, he'll be looking for the Carlos Adames fight. But I'm glad this is happening now. This is what we want to see. Champion versus champion. The best versus the best. We know Lara's 42. But I want to see how good Johnny Beck really is. You know, his toughest fight was Denzel Bentley, for God's sake. And I love Denzel. But this is going to be even a 42-year-old Lara should be a test for him. But I'm with you. I think he'll come through flying colours. I think he's a special fighter. I don't think he's an elite fighter because I don't fling that word around too much like some people do. But I think he's a world-class fighter. I can actually see him stopping Lara as well. Just needs, the thing with Johnny Beck, mate, fights once a year, if that. He needs to keep active. Don't want to ring rust with him and things like that. But yeah, bring it on. And that looks like quite a good card as well because you've got, didn't say there, you've got Roach versus Cruz, and there's another banger on there. I can't think off the top of my head. There's 3 fights that look brilliant on that PBC card. Can't remember who the other one is now. Sounds crazy. I'm back to Miracle about it, but I can't remember who it is. But there is another good fight on there.
We might end up coming back to it. It ain't this one. But the WBA have now officially ordered Rolly Romero to defend his WBA welterweight world title against Shakam Gaziov next. And Nick Ball will defend his WBA featherweight world title against Brandon Figueroa.
That's a good fight.
Yeah.
Ball Figueroa's a good fight. Not one we wanted again. No. We're talking about the Espinosas and the Angelo Leos of the world. But yeah. Who's the first fight? Oh, Rolly. Yeah, that would be a mandated fight, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, if he's got to take his mandatories, then fair play to him.
Giasov.
I think he's highly ranked, isn't he, with the WBA? Yeah. So I haven't got a problem with that because he was supposed to be taking on Manny Pacquiao, who we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
In a voluntary, which I'm dead against. So this guy's paying his sanction phase. He's working his way up the rankings. And fair play. I haven't seen anything of him, so I can't really comment on him. I just maintain that I don't think Rolly's a great world champion.
No, I agree.
And it's one of the fights he possibly could get beaten.
Yeah.
But yeah, Figueroa Ball, that's a good fight.
Yeah.
Figueroa's obviously coming up, isn't he? He's struggling a bit of featherweight, but he's still got a lot to offer. I think technically, stylistically, he could be tailor-made for Nick Ball.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that fight. I like it, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good fight. I'm looking forward to that one, Figueroa and Ball. Another announcement. I'm not sure I'm really into this. I can't. Ben Whittaker will face Benjamin Gavazzi in a light heavyweight clash on 29th of November in Birmingham. Also on the card, this is all right. Cameron Vong will face Gavin Gwynn in a lightweight rematch. Yeah. That was needed because that was a bit iffy, that one.
Well, me and you are the only two that were kind of, I think, in the boxing community to say we had no problem with Cameron Vong winning, did we? So when we get that fight, going into that fight week, Dave, I'm going to watch that again and see if I've changed my mind.
Yeah.
You remember, me and you said, well, I can't see the problem.
Yeah.
Gavin Gwynn came on strong at the end, but what about the first 6 rounds?
Yeah.
The point scoring, the clean and effective work, the inactivity of Gavin Gwynn. I still don't get it, so I'm going to have to watch it again. Think, maybe I was wrong that day. Maybe he did win that. Was that a swing round? So for now, I'm sticking with my guns, and I think Cameron Vong won. I haven't got a problem with the rematch, but yeah, you were sorry, mate. You were talking about
Ben Whittaker. What do you reckon? This opponent, like I say, It's a poor opponent for a first Eddie Hearn fight, under Eddie Hearn. I thought they could have done a little bit better. Yeah, it's
right. Just quickly, right before I go into a rant, which I might do. The other fight, just found out who the other fight was: Stephen Fulton versus O'Shaki Foster.
Oh yeah.
That's a great card. That is Isaac Cruz, Lamont Roach, Yanni Beck, Lara, Fulton, Foster.
Yeah,
that's salty. Right, back to Ben Whittaker. Now, Eddie Hearn and Frank Smith have accused Ben Shalom of poor matchmaking for his career. The matchmaking hasn't been right. They haven't done this with him. They haven't done that with him. I get it. Totally get it. That's your opinion. That's what you want to do. And Eddie Hearn stated, right, his first fight under Matchroom will be a top 15 ranked opponent. Locked in. Let's go. Ben Whittaker's going to be tested. Remember, this is the guy that's going to be the face of British boxing. This is the guy that's going to be the face of world boxing. This is the guy who's known in America already after 10 fights. This is the guy who can sell sand to the Arabs better than Eddie. This is the guy that's got all the skills to pay the bills. This is the guy that's going to be a multiple world champion. This is the guy for now. I mean, what's Ben Whittaker now? 28, 29, 30? He's back end. So we go now with him. We've taken him to Matchroom. We're the best promotional company in the world. We can deliver what Ben Shalom can't. Love it. Love the sound bites. Love the catchphrases. I'm locked in. Top 15. Who we got then? Let's have a look down the list. Top 50. Ben Gavazi. Who? What? Who? What? Not even a number one ranked in Germany. It's like ranked number 4, and he just about fits into the top 50. Now, you can understand why people are annoyed, because it's just blatant lies.
Yeah.
That's a fight nobody wants to see.
Yeah.
And I understand if you're pro Eddie and pro Team Matchroom and pro Ben Whittaker. I've got nothing against Ben Whittaker. I want to see him in more competitive fights, because I've been sold, not just from Eddie, but from Ben Shalom as well, this guy's the future. Now, if he is the future, if he's as good as what people were saying, then a step up from Liam Cameron, it should be.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. I mean, people are pretending now, or people are probably going into the archives and having a look at this German opponent and see how good he really is, or what he's all about. You're not going to sell me 19-0. I'm just one win over in Germany, no sods heard of, because we can talk about these African kids that come over with the same records. Yeah. Yes, it's in Germany, but that's irrelevant. If this kid was a title contender, if he was this good, we may have heard something about him, but we haven't.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not taking it for granted. But for me, in its 10th fight, it was 11th fight, Dave, looking at the British rankings, someone like a Lerone Richards, someone like a Shakan Pitters, someone like a Bradley Ray. For me, that screamed that should be Ben's next opponent. But what Eddie and the team are doing, they're very clever. They're swerving those awkward British opponents, and they're going down the WBC route. So obviously Suleiman's put this 3% bollocks belt on top. So he'll get ranked as an international belt, and they'll go that way. They'll do it an easier route. Because if you put him in with Lerone Richards now, if you put him in with Shakan Pitters now, Bradley Ray, these type of guys, they know there's a lot of jeopardy there. There's a high possibility against these guys that are kind of proven, you possibly get beat, or you might get stopped after what we saw. I'm not convinced after the rematch. I've got to be honest, Dave. I'm not convinced with the Liam Cameron rematch. So I haven't gone back and gone, that's the Ben Whittaker we wanted to see. Fantastic performance. He got the stoppage, fair enough, but I'm still not sold.
Would you put him in with Dan Aziz?
Another great, yes.
Yeah.
Dan Aziz is one of my favourite fighters, but Dan Aziz seems to be under decline. It's a great time to have him. It's a great name, former British, Commonwealth and European champion. Get rid of him, done. So same as Lerone Richards. Lerone Richards is a former British and Commonwealth champion as well.
That's what I mean. But see, if they would have announced it, Dan Aziz, people could have got up for that.
Not a problem. Not a problem with that at all.
Yeah.
But I can't get up for this. I can't be sold a pup. I can't be sold at a press conference that this guy he's fighting is another one who's going to be a great contender. He's a hard night's work. Let's be honest. That Eddie and Franklin, all those kind of guys, they haven't probably sat down and studied Ben Gavazi. They've probably had people are telling him this is the opponent you want. He's very, very beatable. The record could sell you. People come to watch him. I've got to be honest. This apparently now, Dave, Ben Shalom has moved his Jamie TKV against Fraser Clark fight to the same date. Sorry, British title. I know Jamie TKV stinks the place out, but I will be watching the Beeb. If that clashes at the same time, you've got to be the same. You've got to make your mind up as well. If they clash at the same time, brother, which one are you watching? I won't be watching that Ben Whittaker because I know what's going to happen.
No. Yeah, he's going to do all the flash stuff again because he's going to start doing all that.
It's a perfect cherry-picked opponent to look good on. And to have a look at that record and say, look, he's only lost on his debut. He's won every fight since. He's had X amount of knockouts. You're not selling me that. Sorry, you're not selling me that at all. I know Jamie TKV and I know Fraser Clark and I know it's for a British title. Yeah. If that was Shakan Pitters, if that was Dan Aziz, like you said, Lerone Richards, I'd be like, this is the time he's going to get tested again. Do you know what? I'm going to flick the zone on, but I won't be.
Yeah,
won't be.
No,
What's your thoughts on that? On that matchmaking, and honestly, like the saying Ben Shalom about the matchmaking, and he's giving us that.
Yeah,
the debut headline fight.
No, exactly. I can't disagree with anything you said there, mate. It's a shit fight, and everyone's reacted to it badly, and rightly so. I say they've done all these videos, show me the money. I'm going to be this star. I'm going to be that. And
good, by the way.
Unknown. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, but put me with no one knows. No one wants that. And to see it, like I say. And he'll do it once. See if he does it again, then there'll be uproar.
Well, he'll beat Gavazi, right? Yeah. So he'll get ranked because he'll have a WBC international title. It'll be top 15. And then they'll carefully cherry pick to get up the rankings to get a world title shot. I understand what they're doing. You know, it's a business at the end of the day. It's matchmaking. It's making as much money as you can for the right reasons, protecting protecting your prospect, if you like. You know, I totally get it. But I'm a boxing fan. I don't really care about the journey you're going on. I want to see good competitive fights. And if Ben Whittaker is the real deal as we've been sold, not just by Eddie, so I'm not just picking on Eddie, but by Ben Shalom as well, then we need to see competitive fights against guys that boxing fans knows. And all those British names I gave you there, they're not world level fighters, by the way. They're good British / possibly European fighters. Put him in with them. How many times we've got to see Ben Whittaker now do the flashy stuff, get rid of opponents no one's heard, with a kind of a padded record, and being told that this is it? Because it's not. You can fool the casual, but you can't fool us. Sorry, that's how I feel. I wish him all the best. I want him to do well. Of course, I don't want every boxer. They do something that I've never been able to do, never been good enough to do. So I want the best for him, but I can't get up for this. I just can't. Main event as well. But obviously it's the zone, so it's behind a paywall. Nah, I'll be up to BBC, please.
Well, you'll get behind this fight. Announce Shabazz Massoud will face Peter McGrail.
That's soon.
For the European super bantamweight title on December 6th in Monaco. Also on the card, Johnny Fisher returns. Yeah. But another fight that you called, and fair play, you got receipts for it, would be Conor Walker versus Pat McCormack in a welterweight clash. That's a good card, That's a fucking good card.
Now, see, Eddie can put good fights on. Good competitive fights within his own stable.
Yeah. That's a good fight, that Shabazz Massoud.
Oh, it's brilliant fight.
I'm all over. I'm all in for that, mate.
And that's high-level chess.
Yeah, that is.
Not elite level, it's world level chess. You know what I mean? But sorry, mate,
No, I'm really looking forward to that, mate. Like I say, you know, he's very good at protecting his fighters, protecting their O's and all that sort of stuff. But he's putting two of his, of his good prospects in together here, and the person and the winner moves on to world honours for me, 100%.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, there, it's a high level chess match. That is. I'll say it now, and I'll probably stick to it. I'm leaning towards Massoud. I just feel Massoud's got a little bit more bite in what he does. But for me, it's going to be a fantastic fight. That, and then and Pat McCormack, you called that fight a while back on the pod there when Conor Walker, retained his title.
Yeah, and
you said that bit, but again, I think there's, it's a step too far for a young Conor Walker.
I do. I agree. I think that the journey doesn't end, but the train kind of stops now. I think he'll only go. This is his level now, British level. But he's coming against someone that's on a crest of a wave that I think can go on and do very well, not just domestically, but world level in Pat McCormack. But just going back to the Massoud McGrail fight, that's a brilliant fight stylistically as well. Yeah. If Massoud hadn't fought Liam Davis, I would have been Pete McGrail all day long. But what I saw Shabazz Massoud do to Liam Davis was, in fact, it's probably one of the performances of the year for me. Yeah. Again, not a lot of people are speaking about it. Technically, very, very clever. Now, I know McGrail didn't fight to Liam Davis, but I agree with you. Massoud's just got something about it. That IQ just seems a little bit higher than the rest of the fighters in the UK. McGrail's not far behind, but when I saw McGrail take on, was it Reese Edwards? Late Dennis McCann.
That's right.
I was like, I know it's a late replacement, but you've got to remember amateur fighters have dealt with all styles. So he should be ready for all styles. And he gave him a fight. Yes, he won the fight, but it wasn't as easy as people made out. But what Massoud done to Liam Davis, and I like Liam Davis, I thought, wow, yeah, this kid's ready for world honours. And I'm going in already, same as you, mate. I think Massoud will do it. I ain't saying he's going to stop him, but I think Massoud might kind of, that's going to be another wow. I know McGrail is good, but I expected to be a little bit closer to that, but Massoud's got the lot. But yeah. Great matchmaking from Matchroom. I just wish the Ben Whittaker one was better for his debut,
Yep, I agree, mate. Right. This was earlier in the week, and there's been a caveat to it. So there's two parts of this. The WBA have now officially ordered Kubrat Pulev to defend his WBA regular heavyweight belt against Moses Atuma next. Frank Warren confirmed. Right. And then a couple of days later, announced Kubrat Pulev will defend his WBA regular heavyweight title belt against Murat Gassiev on December 12th in Dubai. What the fuck is going on?
Do you want to have a rant or shall I?
No, you go. Your rants are better than mine.
I just don't understand it. I don't understand the WBA. So obviously the full champion is Usyk. The regular champion is Pulev. The interim champion is Fabio Wardley. Silver champion is Michael Hunter. Where the fuck does Garcia fit in?
Yeah.
They don't fit into it at all.
I mean, where
where does Moses fit into it? I mean, Moses is ranked #1 contender, isn't he? So it's just the WBA are probably worse than the WBC when it comes to belts and 3%. It's an absolute shit show. Nobody knows what's going on. I haven't got a clue what's going on. You know what I mean? The regular title was supposed to be the one that kind of blends in with the full title. So just say, for instance, Usyk fights what's his name, the Bulgarian Pulev. Then it disappears. That belt disappears. We get rid of it, like it was supposed to with Daniel Dubois when he fought against Usyk the first time after he beat Trevor Bryan. But they just pulled it out again, Dave. They put it out. What we do is, I know you've been waiting, so we'll make that a regular title belt. We take 3% if you are, but you'll be guaranteed to fight for the full title next. It's just a shit show. So I don't know what's going on. That news will probably change again this week, mate. No idea.
I know. That's what I mean.
Where's Michael Hunter now?
Michael Hunter's tweeted off the back of that and said it's a joke. Where am I? I know.
So he should have been fighting. It's really, mate. If people can correct me, but it's such a mess. Silver champion. He should have been fighting the gold champion. I think whoever's the gold champion is. Maybe that's Gassiev. I've got no idea.
No one knows, mate.
No idea, mate.
No.
Hashtag bin the belts. I've said it since day one on this podcast. Yeah. Hashtag bin the belts. Waste of time. Yeah. Make it a Zuffa belt. I brought that news up.
God, no, I'm not bringing that up. You touched on it there when you was chatting away there. So Fraser Clark, Jamie TKV has been postponed due to an injury to TKV. It's been rescheduled now for the 29th. And like you said there, it was on the same night as Ben Whittaker. So, yeah, we'll brush past that one. Because
sorry, mate, do you know what the injury is? I mean, if it's rescheduled to the 29th.
He didn't say what the injury was.
It's not a big one, is it?
No, it can't be, no.
Is it, do you reckon it's allegedly been pushed back for a reason?
It could be some dark arts going on. You never know. Former world champion Joe Cordina will face Gabriel Flores Jr. on the Diego Pacheco, Kevin Sajo undercard in December 13th of December in Stockton, California. So Joe Cordina's back out. He was meant to fight Shaka Stevenson. Didn't make it, so then Padley stepped in. But he's out against... I'm sure I announced that Flores Jr. to fight someone else a couple of weeks ago. He was set to fight someone else. But anyway, he's fighting Joe Cordina on the undercard of Pacheco in December.
Still in Matchroom then?
Yeah. So... Joe Cordina, he needs to get out. He needs rounds. Like I say, he's a great fighter. He's got some unbelievable skills. He kind of stuck against what's his name?
Yeah, the Irishman. My mind's gone blank today, mate. I think it's all the alcohol I had yesterday. But yeah, I can't think his bloody name. The big Irishman that chucked his belt in the bin when he had to fight Sugar Nunes, and I do like him actually. What's his fucking name, ladies and gentlemen? Help us out here.
He absolutely walked through him.
I'm going to have to find it out because he's bugging me. I don't normally use Google, but yeah, carry on, Dave.
So Joe Cordina's back out. Yeah, he needs it. We were worried in his last fight whether he still had the ghost.
Anthony
Kakachi. We were worried that he had the ghost of Christmas past if he got chin checked. And he was very good in his last performance, Joe Cordina. He stood there, he took shots. And I believe he got the stoppage. I can't remember against the opponent it was. But yeah, he's out in California in December.
Yeah, good to see him back. Same as you there, mate. Not a lot more I can say on it, really. Step up opponent since his comeback fight. Yeah. He's fighting at... he's moved up now, isn't he? He's fighting at lightweight, I believe, isn't he? He's a lightweight fighter now. He can't make super feather. So, yeah. Again, same as you, mate. Glad to see him back. Glad to see him fit, healthy, getting rounds, hopefully, and challenging for world titles again. Remember, he's a former world champion himself. So, Anthony Kakachi had the night of his life that night. Wasn't expected to do what he done to Joe, but people were complaining, hit the back of the head and all this kind. Oh no, not the back of the head. It was the hitting after the bell that caused it. Come on, Kakachi was just betting him that night.
Yeah, he was.
But again, sorry to keep repeating myself, but it's glad to see Joe back. Yeah,
this is a shame. This one, Zal Abdullayev has pulled out of his fight with Adam Azim on the Chris Eubank Jr. Conor Benn undercard. Announcement for Azim will be announced soon. That's a shame because that's a decent enough scrap that. And that was one of the better undercard fights that's on that show. But we'll see what's announced next. But yeah, he's pulled out. It hasn't said why, whether it's injury or whatnot, or no one seems to know. But
did you notice Adam Azim's career. Matchroom moaning about Ben Shalom's matchmaking for Ben Whittaker, but for me, it's perfect matchmaking that was for Adam Azim. Obviously, he's done the O'Hara Davis, stepped up to Limpinets, stepping up against Abdullayev very carefully. Unfortunately, it's been pulled, but that's what I want to see. That to me is great matchmaking, not going backwards but going forwards.
Yeah.
So I haven't got a problem. I just feel a little bit sorry now for Ben Shalom. It seems to be all downhill because if Adam Azim, the superstar that I believe he is, the superstar a lot of us believe he can be, he's not getting work under the BBC and obviously under Boxer. He'll end up at fucking Matchroom, man. He'll end up somewhere else. End up at Queensbury. I know there was a talk with Hamza Shiraz kind of saying, "Come over this side," you know, the old Asian connection and things like that. Come over with Frank. Frank will sort you out. And Frank will get him fights. He'll get world title fights and things like that. Get it? But yeah, I think it's all going pear shaped. I mean, we're talking about Vidal Riley now leaving Boxer as well, Dave. Obviously, he's lost Ben Shalom. You know, if Big Fraze wins in November, will he stick with them? Ben Whittaker, sorry, not Ben Shalom. That was his ex-manager. But yeah, it's not going well. It's not going well. He's losing a lot of his fighters, you know. And obviously, I think Savannah Marshall from the women's section, she's gone to MVP. Fran Hennessy is a good sell. That she's bound to walk away, I would have thought. And Lauren Price, I mean, I think the second best technically gifted boxer on the planet. I mean, she's had one fight.
Yeah.
World champion. I mean, she can walk away. She'll probably end up with MVP as well, mate. Yeah. So if any,
she needs to. No one's talking about her lately.
Yeah, but yeah.
The last bit of news for Dave McDonald tonight is Louis Edmonton versus Ezra Taylor is off due to a hip injury sustained by Edmondson, and Steed Woodall has jumped in, and so he'll be fighting Ezra Taylor on the undercard of Joseph Parker, Fabio Wardley on Saturday.
I was listening to the Fight Disciples the other day, and Adam Cattrall mentioned about Louis Edmondson, and he said that he was gutted because finds him exciting. And I know everybody's entitled to an opinion, everybody sees different things. Yeah. But you know me, that I can't get on board with him.
I don't see it.
How do you find Edmondson exciting? It's back-footed, point scoring, but not much output. I don't get it. I just don't. I think Saturday's fight would have been a good fight because Ezra Taylor comes forward and throws punches. He would have put Edmondson under pressure, so he might have had to fight back, if you like. Edmondson's good, you know, he's got the amateur style, but I can't get on with it. I just can't take to him. Whereas other back-footed fighters, I can. I don't know what it is with him. I've got nothing against the kid. I just don't find him exciting. And I'm kind of, this fight's off, and I'm kind of, it's a shame because Ezra Taylor would have put it on him, but not watching Louis Edmondson, I'm not bothered. Yes.
No, I'm totally with you. I agree. I think he's a hard sell. I really, really do. I know he's got a bit of a backing. Is he from Southampton, isn't he? I'm sure he's from around that neck of the woods, isn't he?
Yeah, he's with Billy Joe Saunders, his manager, isn't he?
Yeah, but I just find him a hard sell. I don't find anything exciting. For me, he labours to wins. You know, he doesn't do anything convincingly for me. He just seems to do enough. And yeah, I'm with you, mate. I'm not completely sold on him. So I find him a hard sell and a hard watch. Listen, he's got skills. There's no doubt about it. But for me, he doesn't do enough in fights.
He's a champion for a reason. I get it, but same as you, he doesn't do enough. But what he is doing is enough, isn't it? You know, factually, because he's a British champion. So yeah,
that's it, mate. So that's it for David McDonald and the Dongs.
Thank you, kind sir. Just over an hour. You look absolutely shagged, mate. Probably knackered. You're not shagged, but maybe you'll be shagged a bit. So yeah, let's fuck off now then. Say goodbye, and we'll turn up again on Thursday.
Yeah.
To preview Wardley versus Parker. Looking forward to that one.
I am as well. I am.
Should be a good fight. So yeah. Anything to add, mate, before we say goodbye?
No, that's it, mate.
Lovely job, Lee. I'm just gonna let you see us out now. I like the way you do it. You don't give all the waffle. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. End of episode 151. Please like, share, and subscribe via YouTube and via Spotify. And over to Brother David.
And enjoy the fucking boxing. Have a good one.
Peace out.